12-step meetings are great, but it's just the only thing you don't do. The only thing missing is you're not moving the body,
Yeah.
and it's such an important piece of healing. So thank you for so courageously sharing your story. Um, it's just amazing. And I know you've said what is it, when you share your pain, you lessen your pain, or
That's
something
right.
like
Pain
that.
shared is pain lessened. Yeah.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
So, that's a remarkable story, and I know so very inspiring to our families because we'd like to know that gives us so much hope for our loved ones. Now, I really want to get more into the Y12SR and the amazing work that you're doing with your foundation and the way you're serving. But I want to make sure we take the moment to ask the question that all our family members want to know is, what can we do to truly serve our loved ones, truly support our loved one in a meaningful way? And I think the perspective of people in long-term recovery provide the best perspective for that answer. So if you could give us your thought as a professional and as a person in recovery, what worked
Um,
for you? What kind of supports worked for you? What do you wish you had? What worked, what didn't?
yeah. What a beautiful, beautiful question. And what a beautiful inquiry. And I'm going to talk about this from a couple of perspectives, right? From my own,
Mhm.
right? And from being the mother of children who are also in recovery, right? I didn't talk too much about this in my own when I was doing that little intro and to me in there. I spoke about both my two living children are in recovery, right? And my son went through, the whole deal related to his recovery. And he is now 12 years in recovery and doing beautifully, right? And my daughter as well, hers didn't show up as alcohol or drugs or a substance in that way. Hers, it did, her substance related was food, right? It had to do with food. But her real big um, uh, need for healing came in the area of codependence, right? This was a child, and she, has given me permission to talk in my work to talk about her and her recovery, as well as my son. So I say these things with their blessing and permission. Um, Hers didn't show up, like I said, like alcohol or drugs, right? It showed up really at its base in severe, severe codependency. It showed up as gambling. It showed up as related to food, but the big one underlying it all was codependency, right? And so her treatment and all the things relative to her healing have been in that domain. My son showed up straight up as alcohol and drugs, right? So he's gone through all the things relative to alcohol and drugs. So I'm going to speak from that perspective first, and then I'll speak from what I've seen from my own healing. I'll go back a ways to what I think might have been more useful or even more mindful, if you will, for me. From the perspective of my children, one of the key things I found, and this is one of the things in Y12SR as well, we're really big not only in the 12 steps, but we're really big as well in harm reduction, right? I love harm reduction methodologies, particularly for family members in support of people who are going through their own addiction, right? So all the things related to the harm reduction principles. And I know in this short interview, we don't have a lot of time to talk about those things, but I encourage everyone in this where you are with family members and things like that, look up harm reduction and the harm reduction principles, right? The first principle really of yoga is ahimsa, right? And ahimsa means non-harming, right? It means non-violence. It means non-harming. So using these principles mindfully with our loved ones is, I think, really a real key to supporting both them and ourselves, right? So one of the things I learned in this journey with my children was a different kind of listening, right? To listen to them in a different way, right? That their reality at wherever they are is their reality. It's not my reality, right? And so to argue and all of those kinds of things with them, I have found to be a unskillful, right? There's skillful ways of being, there are unskillful ways of being. In that relationship, I have seen, you know, this arguing and going back and forth to be unskillful, right? It just doesn't seem to lead anywhere, right? So what I learned was observation techniques, right? So, you know, I would always ask my family members, you know, number one, is it okay with you if I tell you what I see, right? This is what I see, right? You know, I see automobile accidents and whatever it is, right? All the things that are stacking up. I see loss of job. I see all of these things. This is my observation of what I see going on in your life, right? And then, you know, I would say to them, listen, if this isn't the way that you see or you want your reality to go, right? I'm here for you. You know, I want you to know that whenever it is that you want support, I'm here for you, right? And that I will be here for you and walk you through some of the support that you need, right? You know, I won't contribute to any of what occurs for me as dysfunction or harm, right? I won't contribute to that, right? And I get to make the decision about what that is, right? Right. If I determine that, you know, I'm not going to support you in getting more drugs, or I'm not going to support you in this, but you know, but whenever it is that this you're making a choice toward the life it is that you tell me you really want, after asking the question, what is it that you want? Right? After asking that question, that I have found that way of being, and really it is a way of being, right? It's not so much a doing, it's a way of being with folks. And what I found being in that way with loved ones offers an option and an opening for them, that whenever it is that they, you know, make some decisions about their own life, they know they got support. They know that I'm there, right?